At my wife's baby shower, she leaned in and whispered, "The baby isn't yours," then walked out, holding my cousin's hand. I was stunned, but months later, when the truth came out, everything changed. The hand-knitted baby booty slipped from my fingers and hit the hardwood floor. 30 people went silent, mid-conversation, mid-bite of cake, mid-everything. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring. My wife Sarah leaned close. Her perfume, Chanel No. 5, the expensive one I'd bought her for Christmas, made me nauseous. She put her lips right next to my ear. "The baby isn't yours." The words didn't register, not immediately. They hung there like smoke, not quite real. She stood up, smoothed her maternity dress, the blue one with white flowers that made her look radiant. 8 months pregnant, round belly, glowing skin. And she walked straight across my parents' living room to my cousin Jake, took his hand, in front of everyone. My mom, her parents, our friends, 30 witnesses to my humiliation. "We're leaving," Sarah announced. Her voice was calm, steady, like she was announcing dinner plans. "Jake is the father. We've been together for 8 months. My throat closed. The baby shower decorations, stupid blue balloons spelling out baby boy, teddy bear centerpieces, a banner that said, "Welcome little one," blurred into a mess of colors. 8 months pregnant, 8 months together. The math was immediate and devastating. I'm Mark Harrison, 31 years old, senior accountant at a mid-sized firm in Portland, Oregon. Married to Sarah for 3 years, together for 5. Normal life, good job, planning for our first kid, or so I'd thought. "Sarah, what are you—" My voice came out strangled. "Don't." She held up one hand. French manicure perfect. The diamond ring I'd saved 6 months to buy catching the light. "You were boring, Mark. Predictable. Safe. Jake actually makes me feel alive." Jake, my cousin Jake, 28 years old, bartender, charming, irresponsible, the guy I'd lent $5,000 to last year when he got evicted. Money he'd never paid back. He squeezed Sarah's hand. Wouldn't look at me, just stared at the floor like a coward. "Sorry, man," he mumbled, "but we're in love." My mother-in-law Diane set down her teacup. The clink echoed through the silent room. "Well, this explains why Mark's been so distant lately. Clearly not ready for fatherhood." The words hit like a physical blow. This woman who'd called me son for 3 years, who'd hugged me at Christmas, who'd cried happy tears when Sarah announced the pregnancy, was already spinning the narrative, making me the villain. "Are you kidding me?" My best friend Tom jumped up. His chair scraped loud against the floor. "Sarah's the one who—" "Tom, don't!" Sarah interrupted, voice sharp. "Mark knows what he did, always working late, never home. I was lonely. Jake was there for me when Mark wasn't." Lies. All lies. I'd been working late because we needed money for the baby, for the house we were buying, for the nursery furniture Sarah had picked out, for everything she wanted. But 30 people were staring at me, some with pity, some with disgust, like they were already believing her story. "You're pathetic," Sarah said quietly, just to me. "You really thought I'd spend my life with someone like you?" She walked out. Jake followed. The door slammed. For maybe 10 seconds nobody moved. Then the exodus started. One by one, guests left. Some mumbled awkward goodbyes. "So sorry this happened. If you need anything." Empty words. Others just ran, grabbed coats and purses and got out as fast as possible. Within 20 minutes, only 3 people remained. Tom, my sister Jess, and my dad. Mom had locked herself in the bathroom. I could hear her crying. "Let's get you out of here," Dad said quietly. His voice shook. I'd never heard my father's voice shake. I moved into Dad's basement that night. Sarah changed the locks on our apartment. Her text at 11:47 p.m. "Don't come back. Your stuff will be boxed up. Lawyer will contact you." Just like that. 5 years together, 3 years married, 8 months of preparing for our baby. Gone. I need to back up. Explain how we got here. Sarah and I met in 2018 at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. I was 26. She was 24. She was beautiful. Blonde hair, green eyes, the kind of smile that made you forget what you were saying. We dated for 2 years. Got married at a vineyard in Napa Valley. Her family had money. Her grandfather had founded a successful medical supply company. My family was middle class. Dad was a middle school teacher. Mom worked in HR. But Sarah said she didn't care about money. Said she loved me for me. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment in the Pearl District. I worked long hours at Morrison & Associates, climbing from junior to senior accountant. Sarah worked part-time as a yoga instructor. Life was good, normal, happy. When she got pregnant in January 2023, we were thrilled. Started planning immediately. Picked out names, designed the nursery, went to every doctor's appointment together, or so I thought. Now, sitting in Dad's basement on an air mattress surrounded by boxes of my stuff, I replayed every moment. Had there been signs? Sarah had been distant the last few months, less affectionate, more critical, but I'd chalked it up to pregnancy hormones, stress, normal stuff. Jake had been around more, coming to dinners, helping with errands, but he was family, my cousin. Why wouldn't he help? God, I was stupid. 3 days after the baby shower, Sarah's lawyer sent divorce papers. Not just divorce, full documentation, property settlement agreement, spousal support request, and a post-nuptial agreement I'd allegedly signed 6 months ago. The agreement gave Sarah the apartment, the car, and $40,000 from our savings. It waived my rights to any marital property accumulated during pregnancy. "I never signed this," I told Tom, staring at the document. "My signature was there, perfect, exact, but I had no memory of signing it." "It's forged," Tom said immediately. immediately. Has to be. Look at it. It's perfect. Get a lawyer. A real one. Not some public defender. Someone who'll fight. I called Maria Rodriguez on Monday morning. She'd been recommended by a colleague whose divorce she'd handled. 23 years practicing family law in Oregon. Partner at Rodriguez & Chen, known as a bulldog. Her office was downtown, 14th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Willamette River. Tell me everything, she said. Legal pad ready. I did. The baby shower, the public humiliation, the forged post-nuptial, the locked apartment, everything. Maria's pen moved fast, taking notes. When I finished, she looked up. When's the baby due? 3 weeks, October 15th. And she claims the affair started 8 months ago? That's what she said, in front of 30 people. Maria did quick math on her calculator. That would put the affair starting in February, but she got pregnant in January. I know. Mark, if she got pregnant in January and the affair allegedly started in February, that baby is yours. She said it's Jake's. She's lying, or bad at math, or both. Maria leaned forward. Here's what we're going to do. First, we challenge the post-nuptial. I'll need you to get a handwriting expert. Second, we file for custody and paternity testing. Third, we freeze all joint accounts immediately. She already drained the savings. Maria's expression hardened. How much? The account had $47,000. She took $43,000 3 days before the baby shower. That's marital assets dissipation. We can fight that. She started typing. I'm filing emergency motions today. Restraining order on assets, preliminary custody hearing, discovery requests for bank records and communications. What about Jake? What about him? He'll be on the birth certificate. She'll say he's the father. He can say whatever he wants. DNA doesn't lie. We'll get a court-ordered paternity test. The baby came on October 12th, 3 days early. A boy. I found out from Facebook. Sarah's post at 3:47 a.m. Welcome to the world, Connor James. 7 lbs, 4 OZs, perfect in every way. The photo destroyed me. Dark hair, my nose, my chin. Even as a newborn, he looked exactly like my baby photos. That's your kid, Jess said when I showed her. She was sitting next to me in Dad's basement, both of us staring at my phone. Mark, look at him. He's a carbon copy of you. Sarah says he's Jake's. Sarah's a liar. I zoomed in on the photo. Connor's eyes were closed. Tiny fists, wrinkled newborn skin. My son, maybe. 2 weeks later, Sarah married Jake at the courthouse. Small ceremony. No announcement. I found out from my aunt who saw the marriage license filing. This doesn't make sense, Tom said. We were at a sports bar, trying to pretend life was normal. If she's really in love with Jake, why the rush? Why marry him 2 weeks after having a baby? Maybe they wanted to make it official. Or maybe she needed to be married for some reason. That stuck with me. For some reason, Maria had filed for DNA testing. Sarah's lawyer, Richard Chen, partner at Morrison Legal, 30 years experience, fought it aggressively. Their argument, Jake was listed as father on the birth certificate. Jake and Sarah were legally married. I had no grounds to challenge paternity. Maria countered, the timeline didn't support Sarah's affair claim. I was the presumed father based on the date of conception during our marriage. Oregon law required DNA testing when paternity was disputed. Back and forth for weeks. Motions, counter-motions, hearings. Judge Patricia Morrison, 58 years old, 26 years on the bench, known for no-nonsense rulings, finally ruled in our favor. Mr. Harrison has standing to challenge paternity. DNA testing will proceed. This is not negotiable. Sarah's face went white. Her lawyer immediately requested an appeal. Judge Morrison denied it. The test will be conducted within 30 days. No further delays. While we waited for the DNA results, Maria dug deeper. I want to see everything, she said. Bank records, phone records, social media messages, emails, everything Sarah has access to. Through discovery, we got Sarah's text messages with her sister Amanda. The first bombshell came on November 3rd. Maria called me at 9:23 p.m. Mark, sit down. What is it? I found texts between Sarah and Amanda from March, before the baby shower. They're discussing the plan. My hands went numb. What plan? I'm sending them to you now. Read them, then call me back. I opened the PDF. Text messages dated March 17th, 2023. Amanda, are you sure about this? It's pretty extreme. Sarah, I can't spend my life with Mark. He's boring, predictable. I need out. Amanda, so leave him? Sarah, it's not that simple. Grandma's will. I need to be married before I turn 30 or I lose the inheritance. Amanda, so stay married? Sarah, no, I need to be married, just not to Mark. Jake agreed to help. Amanda, wait, Jake, your husband's cousin? Sarah, he owes Mark money anyway, and he's gay. He's doing me a favor. We fake a relationship, make Mark look bad at the baby shower. He leaves. I file for divorce. I marry Jake before my birthday. Everyone thinks Mark's the villain. I get the inheritance. Jake gets $50,000. Amanda, that's insane. Sarah, it's perfect. I read it 3 times. Then I threw up. She'd planned this. For months, the affair wasn't real. Jake wasn't straight. The baby shower humiliation was theater. All to steal my son and get her grandmother's money. I called Maria back, hands shaking. She fabricated everything. Keep reading. There's more. I scrolled. More messages from April. Sarah, the post-nuptial is signed. Amanda, you forged his signature? Sarah, he never reads documents, just signs what I put in front of him. I've been practicing his signature for weeks. Amanda, that's fraud. Sarah, it's insurance. He gets nothing in the divorce. And from September, 2 weeks before the baby shower. Sarah, everything's ready. Baby shower is Sunday. I'll make the announcement. Jake will play along. Mark will be destroyed. Amanda. What about the baby? Sarah. What about it? Amanda. It's Mark's baby, Sarah. Sarah. Not legally. Jake's name goes on the birth certificate. Mark never sees him again. Amanda. That's cruel. Sarah. That's the plan. She admitted it, I said to Maria. In writing, she admitted the baby's mine. Not just that, she admitted to fraud, forgery, identity theft. This is criminal, Mark, not just civil. The DNA results came back November 15th. Probability of paternity, 99.998%. Connor was my son. Maria filed an emergency motion for custody, back child support, fraud charges, and criminal investigation into the forged postnuptial. Sarah's lawyer tried to settle, offered joint custody, offered to return some of the money. Maria refused. We're going to trial. We're going public with everything. The hearing was December 4th. Circuit Court, Multnomah County, Judge Morrison presiding. The courtroom was packed. My family, Sarah's family, friends, reporters, word had gotten out about the case. Sarah showed up in a black dress, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, playing the sympathetic young mother. Her mom, Diane, sat directly behind her, glaring at me. Jake wasn't there. According to Discovery, he'd fled to Nevada 2 weeks earlier, wouldn't respond to subpoenas. Maria stood up when called. Your Honor, this case is not a simple custody dispute. It's a case of fraud, identity theft, and parental alienation based on fabricated evidence. She pulled up the first exhibit on the courtroom screen, the text messages between Sarah and Amanda. These messages show premeditation. Mrs. Harrison, or Mrs. Clark, as she now calls herself, planned to defraud my client months before the alleged affair was revealed. The affair was fake. Mr. Clark, who was listed as the father, is not the biological father and has since fled the state. Sarah's lawyer stood. Your Honor, private text messages are not their evidence, Judge Morrison interrupted. Admitted under discovery. Continue, Ms. Rodriguez. Maria showed the messages one by one. Sarah's confession that Jake was gay and helping for money. Her admission that she'd forged the postnuptial. Her plan to take the baby and exclude Mark permanently. The courtroom was silent except for someone's quiet sobbing. I looked back. Sarah's mother, Diane, had her hand over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Your Honor, I present Exhibit C, the postnuptial agreement bearing my client's allegedly signature. Maria pulled up the document. We hired a certified forensic document examiner, Dr. Patricia Chen, 27 years experience, certified by the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners. Dr. Chen stood. After microscopic analysis, I concluded with certainty that the signature was traced, not signed. The pressure points are inconsistent with natural signing motion. This is forgery. Sarah's face went pale. She whispered something to her lawyer. He shook his head. Exhibit D, Maria continued. Bank records showing Mrs. Harrison withdrew $43,000 from joint savings 3 days before the baby shower. Exhibit E, Connor Harrison's DNA test confirming 99.98% probability that Mark Harrison is the biological father. That's not. Sarah started to stand. Her lawyer grabbed her arm, pulled her down. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Mrs. Clark, do you have anything to say? Sarah looked at her lawyer. He whispered something. She shook her head. No, Your Honor. Ms. Rodriguez, what are you requesting? Full physical and legal custody to Mark Harrison effective immediately. Supervised visitation only for Mrs. Clark. Return of all marital assets. Criminal investigation into fraud and forgery. And Your Honor, Maria paused. I'm requesting that Connor Harrison's birth certificate be amended to show Mark Harrison as the legal father. Judge Morrison reviewed the documents for what felt like hours. Finally, he looked up. I've seen many custody cases. This is not one of them. This is a case of calculated deception. Mrs. Clark fabricated an affair, forged legal documents, stole marital assets, and attempted to permanently separate a father from his biological child. Sarah was crying now, quiet, shoulders shaking. I am granting full custody to Mr. Harrison effective immediately. Mrs. Clark will have supervised visitation twice per week for 2 hours. She will return all stolen assets within 30 days or face contempt charges. The birth certificate will be amended to reflect Mr. Harrison as the legal father. The gavel came down. Furthermore, I am referring this case to the District Attorney's Office for investigation into fraud and forgery charges. This hearing is adjourned. I sat there, unable to move. Tom grabbed my shoulder. You won. Mark, you won. Maria collected her files. Meet me in my office tomorrow. We'll discuss the transition plan for Connor. I walked out of the courtroom in a daze. Sarah stood in the hallway with her mother. Diane was screaming at her. Do you know what you've done? The embarrassment, the legal fees, the humiliation? Your grandmother would be ashamed. Mom, I don't. We're done. You're on your own. Diane stormed off. Sarah turned to me, mascara running, dress wrinkled. Mark, please, can we talk? No, I made a mistake. I was scared. I didn't know what I wanted. But Connor needs both parents. Connor needs a father who wants him. You tried to erase me. You stole from me. You humiliated me in front of everyone we know, and you did it all for money. It wasn't about money. Your texts say otherwise. Tom appeared behind me. Let's go. We walked to the parking garage, got in Tom's car, drove to Maria's office to sign paperwork. Connor is at your father's house, Maria said. CPS transferred him this morning. You can pick him up anytime. Now. I want to get him now. We drove to Dad's house. Mom answered the door, baby carrier in hand. He's sleeping, she said quietly. Been fed, changed. He's perfect, Mark. I looked down at Connor, 4 weeks old, dark hair, my nose, my chin, my son. I picked up the carrier. He stirred but didn't wake, just made a small sound and settled. Tom drove us to my new apartment, 1 bedroom in Northwest Portland. Small, but mine, and safe. The nursery wasn't ready. Tom and Jess had been helping me set it up, but it was still half finished. Crib assembled, but not dressed. Changing table, but no supplies. We'll get everything tomorrow, Tom said. Tonight, he just needs you. I set up the carrier in my bedroom, sat on the floor next to it, watched Connor sleep. My phone buzzed. Text from Sarah. Please, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Let me see him. Let me be his mother. I blocked her number. Then I texted Jess. I have him. He's here. He's perfect. She responded immediately. Sending so much love. You're going to be an amazing dad. Connor woke up at 2:47 a.m., crying, hungry. I'd never fed a baby before, never changed a diaper, never dealt with a middle-of-the-night wake-up. But I figured it out. Warmed the formula. Fed him slowly, burped him, changed his diaper, messily, but it worked. Rocked him back to sleep. And when he was settled, when his breathing was slow and even and peaceful, I cried. For everything that had happened, everything I'd lost, everything I'd almost lost, but mostly because he was here, he was safe, he was mine. The criminal investigation took 6 months. Sarah was charged with fraud, forgery, and identity theft. Her lawyer negotiated a plea deal, 2 years probation, $50,000 restitution, community service. She never went to jail. But she lost her reputation, her friends, her family's support. Diane didn't speak to her for a year. Eventually, they reconciled, but the relationship was damaged, broken. Jake never came back to Oregon. Last I heard, he was bartending in Reno. Sarah's supervised visitations lasted 3 months. She came twice per week, held Connor, cried a lot. Eventually, she asked to reduce it to once per week, then once per month. By Connor's first birthday, she'd stopped coming altogether. Sent cards on holidays, money occasionally, but no real presents. Her grandmother's inheritance, she never got it. The requirement was being married before 30 in good standing. The fraud conviction disqualified her. The estate went to her cousin instead. All of it. The planning, the lies, the humiliation, the theft, for nothing. I'm writing this 2 years later. Connor is 2 years old. He's walking, talking, says Dada clear as day. He has my eyes, my smile, my laugh. We live in a small house in Beaverton now. 3 bedrooms, fenced yard, good school district. Tom is his godfather. Jess is his favorite aunt. Dad and Mom babysit twice a week. Connor asks about his mother sometimes. Mommy? Pointing at photos. I tell him the truth. Age-appropriate version. Mommy loves you, but she can't be here right now. But Daddy's here. Always. Last week, Sarah texted. First time in 11 months. I saw Connor's birthday photos on Facebook. He's beautiful. You're a good father. I'm sorry I almost took that from you. I didn't respond. Some apologies don't change anything. Don't fix what's broken. Don't undo the damage. Sarah tried to erase me. Tried to steal my son. Tried to ruin my life for money she never got. But she failed because Connor knows who his father is. Knows who stayed, who fought, who never gave up. And every morning when he wakes up and says "da-da" and reaches for me with those tiny hands, I know I won. Not in court. Not with DNA tests. Not with exposing her lies. I won because my son knows I'm his father. And that's the only thing that ever mattered.